Welcome back, everybody. This is the Golden Era Bookworm, the only real bodybuilding library. So today I'm bringing you Your Physique, April 1947, with Everett Sinderoff on the cover, who was at the time had won Junior Mr. America. Another painting, great painting from George Quaintance, in this case of Everett Sinderoff. On the cover we can see, I think he's kind of riding a surfboard or something because there's like waves coming up. But interesting, it says, it's easy to cure indigestion and how to test your personality. For those that didn't know, Your Physique eventually becomes Mr. America, and I guess you could say that later Mr. America kind of re-evolves again and becomes Muscle and Fitness, but much later on. Your Physique was starting to become more of a health and a muscle magazine. Not just a muscle magazine, but also focused on health. And we can read that in the editorial, where Joe Weider actually quite clearly states, "Onward and upward with Your Physique." And in this particular editorial, Joe Weider states that Your Physique will now also contain articles not just on building muscles, but on all aspects of mental health and physical health. So he was actually starting to see the overall health of the individual, not just physical but mental. Los Angeles invaded by muscles was a great article that I really enjoyed, mainly in regards to that. This article was about on Vic Tanny. Victor Tanny, a famous golden era bodybuilder at the time, gave an actual show on December the 16th and 17th in what was it in? I can't remember. But in Los Angeles, obviously. And this show showcased 5 Mr. Americas. Clarence Ross, who's pictured here, doing some poses, looking phenomenal. John Grimek, Steve Stanko, and also Alan Stephan, who curled 200 pounds at the show, and Bert Goodrich, another Mr. America, who bench pressed 150 pounds with a man hand balancing on the barbell. So a total of over 300 pounds. That's a pretty amazing feat. So can you imagine having seen all of these bodybuilders in one show? That would have been such a marvelous occasion. I wish I could have lived to see that, or could have lived at the time to see that. Another great article was Popping the Questions at John Davis, the heavyweight world champion. And Joe Weider asked him a few questions. I loved his training methods. I'm actually also, I used to do a lot of Olympic weightlifting and hope to get back into it. His training method, 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. One week he presses and squats, another one he snatches and squats, and the third week he cleans and jerks. And each of these training sessions involves 10 sets of 3 rep sets, which is heavy lifting, with 5-minute rests in between. And he warms up, can you believe it? He warms up with between 250 and 300 pounds, depending on it, whether it's a snatch, clean and jerk, or press. That is unbelievable. That's his warm-up. That's why he was the world heavyweight champion of lifting. How to best, develop the chest muscles is next. And this is pretty interesting, I guess. This is by George F. Jowett. And he talks about how one can develop the pec minor, which is the upper pec. And basically it should be done using exercises that bring the shoulder out wide and the elbows out wide and high near the shoulder level. Nowadays, one could use the Larry Scott method, of course, of just using the Smith machine, and or as also advocated by Vince Gironda, and bench pressing to the neck. But back then that wasn't available, and so one could push up with the hands extended out to the sides, focusing on the pec minor, and then eventually one was supposed to graduate to such a level where the hands are all the way forward, and you're basically doing these jackknife lifts, which are very restricted, but they all built the pec minor. Other exercises are shown as well. Training for the snatch was another interesting article. Basically shows you the techniques of training for the snatch. Basically it's just 20 to 30 reps throughout the whole workout. So that would be again 2 to 3 rep sets times 10. Warming up to anywhere between 60, 75 or even up to 85% of your 1 rep max. And the methods from the Russians, Egyptians, Germans, as well as the British are explained in this article. So it's a really good article. Sigmund Klein's gymnasium I also really enjoyed, because we learn, I mean, besides the awesome retro photos with all these awesome retro barbells and dumbbells at the back, the author goes on to say that every time he walked into Sig's gym, he would find him doing some of his most amazing strength feats and balancing feats. It just goes to show how back then, I mean, these guys did handstands and all these gymnastic things. And I mean, they were really athletic back then. So, yeah, Sigmund Klein and his gymnasium. Another great article was on the Saxon Trio, I believe. Yep. Oops, it's my marker. My bookmark. So that's Arthur Saxon and the Saxon Trio. Again, this is very famous strongman Arthur Saxon, known as the Iron Master. Some of you may have seen enough documentaries of Arnold to know that he has the Saxon Trio painted in a massive painting in one of his rooms. I think Joe Weider actually also had one like that. And he's also famous for challenging Eugene Sandow, who actually walked up on stage and accepted his challenge. Finally, I really liked one of the final articles in this magazine, and that's the Greek physique and yours. What I like is that it highlights how different the physiques of the late 40s and early 50s differed, but also were quite similar to the Greek statues. They're actually compared, if you can see the images here. That's a normal person, I should say a bodybuilder from the 40s or 50s versus a Greek ideal statue there. And more important is that this article actually highlights that people were referencing their physiques to the Greek physique, to the Greek ideal. And it just goes to show that back then physical culture, as it was called, actually focused on obtaining an aesthetic and very beautiful physique, and it wasn't about developing the most enormous muscles using whatever possibilities were available. It was really about training hard, training your whole body 2 to 3 times a week, and it was about developing an ideal symmetrical aesthetic physique. And that's what I really liked about that particular article. The rest of the magazine has also some other interesting articles, but that's mainly it. That's a review of Your Physique, April 1947, with Everett Sindarov on the cover. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'll be making some more videos soon. If you've liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe and share. And this is the Golden Era Bookworm saying bye for now. And remember, Golden Era Bookworm is your true bodybuilding library. Thank you. Bye bye.